second step involves building the soldier's family tree. And a very good place to start for this is the Commonwealth War Graves Commission website. So if we click on that, it brings up the web page of the CWGC, and you can put the soldier's name in the search box. Now, we've previously picked Brynley Gleeson as our soldier of choice. So we click on search. It'll then bring up the available records. So here you can see the Brynley Gleeson, Private 14669, died on the 14th of July 1916, and he belonged to the King's Shropshire Light Infantry. If we click on this green arrow here, it brings us to the records that they have for Brynley Gleeson on the CWGC website. And if we scroll down, you can see that you can download a commemorative certificate. You can see the actual commemoration on the Tipfel Memorial. And you also can gain access to some of the records that they have in their archives. There's the panel list, which in fact is just a list of names and not very informative from a genealogical point of view. But the grave registration document, if you click on that and if we enlarge it, you'll see that there is Private Brynley Gleeson, 14669, who died on the 14th of July 1916. Those are his details there. But if we look down 3 entries below to Private Thomas Gleeson, we can see that it actually has his age and that he's the son of John and Mary Gleeson of Clare Abbey, Clare Castle, County Clare. And this is very useful information for building this particular soldier's family tree. This would tie him into the 1911 and 1901 census data, which is freely available for Ireland online, and also give us a really good start to his family tree. He would have been born about 1896, and his civil registration birth record would be available for free from the website irishgenealogy.ie. But if we go back to Private Brynley, we don't have any such genealogical information related to the documents that they have on the Commonwealth War Graves Commission website. So the next step is then to go to Ancestry. And Ancestry.com is probably the best of the genealogical websites to use. I am a member, but I'm not signed in at the moment. You don't have to actually have a membership to actually use it. So if you click on the search function, it then brings up a search box, and if we type in Brynley Gleeson and then click on search, it will bring up a whole range of available genealogical records for Brynley Gleeson. And you can see here, and this is quite a broad search, that the first one that comes up, in fact, is his World War I Medal Rolls Index, and it's the Shropshire Light Infantry. His regimental number is 14669, so that's our man. We can actually filter all of these results by a variety of categories. Let's look at the military categories, and you can see that the first few ones are in fact probably related to our Brynley Gleeson. There is this one here, the UK soldiers who died in the Great War. If we actually click on that or hover over it, we see that his birthplace was Swansea. So already we have some additional genealogical information. If we click on that, it asks us to sign up for a trial, 14-day trial. Please feel free to do so should you wish, or you can subscribe for 6 months or on a monthly basis, whichever you wish. But let's first of all look and see if there's anything for Brynley in the 1911 census information. And in fact, yes, there is an entry for a Brynley Gleeson born in 1911 in Wales. And you can see that he was about 1891 was his year of birth. He was born in Swansea and Glamorgan in Wales. And you have a street address for him there. And the occupation is a tin trade riser. And that's in 1911. There's also, you can go back to the 1901 census and see that, again, the estimated birth year is 1892. So it probably is the same person. Now, what I've done is I've actually signed in to Ancestry. So if I go to that web page now and search for Brynley Gleeson again you'll see the exact same data coming up, but this time there's actually much more information. If I filter it by military, first of all, we'll see the same kind of information we've just looked at already, He was born in Swansea, and if we filter it by census information and look at those two census records that we found, there's the 1911. Now you can see that his father was James. He has a sibling, Nora, in 1911, and then in 1901 he has a father, James, a sibling, Nora, and the mother is Lizzie Gleason. Born Swansea 1891, born Swansea 1892, probably refers to the same people. If we click on the 1901 census information and click on the actual view, it will bring up some further information about this particular family. And there they are down there. And we can enlarge that so that you see that Brindley, at this point in time in 1901, is about 9 years old. He's a scholar. He has several brothers and sisters, and the parents are James Gleason, aged 48, who is a foreman, and he was born in Tipperary in Ireland, which is not surprising because that's where most of the Gleasons actually came from. So we can now save this to a person in your tree or save it to your computer. What we want to do, in fact, is we want to create a new tree. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to the Trees section. I'm going to create and manage trees, and then I'm going to scroll down to the end where it says create a new tree, and I'm going to start a tree for Brindley Gleason. So if I type in his name first of all, and the fact that he is male, the fact that he is deceased, and we know when he died. He died on the 14th of July 1916, and he died in France. If we enter that information, we can add a father. Now at this stage we can just leave in Gleason as the father's surname. The father is deceased as well in all likelihood, so we just click on save, and we can call this family tree Brindley Gleason, and then put in his service number 14669 just to make it easier for people to identify him, and then click on save. It's now loading, and now we have a rudimentary family tree for Brindley Gleason. If we go back to the, well, we can now actually search for him by clicking on search, and it brings us to the same records that we found previously. And what we want to do is we want to go specifically to the census and electoral rolls and bring up the 1911 and the 1901 census information. We'll start with the 1901 census, click on that particular record, and then click on save to Brindley Gleason. And what this does then is it saves the record not just to Brindley himself, but also to his father, James, his mother, Lizzie. And if we scroll down, we can also add in his brothers and sisters. And then we click on Save to Your Tree. And now his family tree expands to a much larger one. We can then go back to the same records that we found for Brindley previously, and this time add in the 1911 census, which is this one here. We click on that, we click on save, and we're saving it to Brindley Gleason again, and once more we have certain information about him. This is not a match. We want to actually go to, the father of Brindley Gleason is James Gleason, and we have Nora, his sister, Lillian, his sister, Osmond Gleason, his brother, and we save those to the tree. And now if we search or look at Brindley's family tree, we'll find that it has expanded somewhat. There is Lizzie Gleason, and why James Gleason hasn't come up I'm not entirely sure. We can we'll have to correct that, but that is how we actually start building Brindley's family tree. One of the things that we can do is click on these Ancestry Hints, and they will bring up Brimley James T. Gleeson, England and Wales birth registration. That was probably him, born in Swansea in Glamorgan in around about 1891. So we'll click on yes and add that record to the family tree. We'll call it Brimley James T. Gleeson. Notice the change in spelling. We save that to the tree, and then we go back and look at his tree again. And this really should be, we'll do a quick edit here and we add in James Gleeson to the father's name. And there may be people who have got other family trees associated with these people, and you can explore the hints to see if any of these make any sense, if any of them are definitely the people in the family tree. Not all of them will be, but some of them will be. And so it'll be important to build the family tree in a logical way that allows you to go back in time, preferably several generations, so that you've got a family tree that goes back well into the 1800s. But that's a start. What we can now do, of course, is we can copy the URL, and that's what we'll actually post into the Everyone Remembered website. That is, in a nutshell, how you build a family tree.